Hey guys, welcome back to Nerdisms, the podcast. We were supposed to have 3 episodes this month, but hey, two is good enough for me ending the year of 2017. Before I talk about what this is about, though you probably know by the title, I just want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast this year. It was a fun endeavor that I decided to do early last year, or this year, I guess. And I'm kind of amazed how many awesome conversations I've had with friends about things they're passionate about, and then just like shows and TV and films that we all love and appreciate. Maybe don't quite like at the same time. But it's been a really fun ride, and look forward to doing more of those in the new year. But hey, thank you so much for listening and supporting me in this little passion project of mine. When I am able to record it and not be tired, which is why it took so long for this episode to go up, even though it was pretty much ready, besides little intros and outros I have to do. But hey, I hope you enjoy this episode of the podcast. I got to sit down with my friend Jennifer, or Jen, as I adaptly title her every time she's on here. She was like one of the first people who I interviewed for the podcast, and now she's back again, and we're talking about Stranger Things. Not only season 2, but we actually talked about season 1 a bit too. We started talking about season 1 in the first part of the episode, because hey, we didn't do one for season 1, but it was super fun to like get really meta about Stranger Things and talk about the characters' journeys in the past 2 seasons, and where we would love to see them in season 3, and all the loveliness of that, and surprising character developments that we were not prepared for, but we're really happy about, aka Steve Harrington. But it was such a fun discussion, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys have a lovely New Year's, since New Year's Eve's tomorrow, and hopefully I have it up tonight. So hope you guys have a lovely New Year's over the next few days, and that year 2018 is wonderful, and I will see you guys then. Anyway, enjoy, guys. Okay, so actually I want to start talking about season 1 of Stranger Things, because we never did an episode about that. So I just, what did you think we were gonna get in season 2 after season 1 came, before we got the trailer for season 2? What did you think we were gonna get?
I kind of figured after season 1 that we would get a little bit of the aftermath with Will, especially with the fact that we got that last scene with him hacking up, the alien species in him. And by the way, and I loved that, not to freaking alien, but him get the thing shoved down his throat, which. So, with that being the case, I was full on expecting us to get, something from Will about that.
Yeah.
I really thought we might have gotten, like, a possessed Will at the beginning. Like, or have him turn, like, half monster, like, half demigod, like...
That would have been actually super interesting if they went that route, but they didn't.
Yeah, so, like... I was thinking they were going to go with that route since they had him hacking stuff up like that. So that's kind of how I was, like, thinking this season was going to go. I don't know really, like, how else I was thinking, because that was, like, my main focus.
I know, because that was, like, basically the thing that they gave us, was that last piece of Will not being okay. And pretending that he was okay, but we knew he was not okay.
Yeah. And then the whole Hopper leaving the Ego.
I know. We knew he was doing something for 11, but we didn't know that the scene we were gonna get with them actually interacting for the first time really was him going into his grandfather's old place. And then she's sitting there. Or no, actually, when they continued the scene from season 1, and you see 11 and Hopper, like, they they see each other.
For me, like after the end of season 1, I really thought that it was him hoping 11 was still out there, but did not know.
Yeah.
So I still kind of go based off of that idea that he was kind of hoping she was still out there. So that's why he was leaving stuff out for her.
Yeah, because I don't think he actually really knew that she was still alive. He was just kind of trying to be hopeful that maybe she was. Because, they don't know how people survive in the Upside Down, really, or if people can survive. Because everyone else has died. Who is gone.
Exactly.
Gone in, basically. So... Especially
with it being, like, you know, the air is poisonous and stuff like that. And you have all these creatures running around, apparently. So, that, like, my whole pretense for that was... Or my thoughts were definitely... He was hoping she was still out there. I agree. I don't believe he knew off at that point in time that she was still out there, but that was kind of like my mentality. And like everything else, I don't know, because they like everybody wasn't really at the forefront of my mind other than Will and 11.
I know, because they were like they're basically the strings that was left for us to go into season 2. It was Will going back to normal life after he went through this whole ordeal and having to, like, act normal even though he had been through, like, shit. He almost died.
Right. So it was really interesting to see how they took things differently in season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But the other thing... since we're still talking about season 1 a bit, is the last scene with Jonathan and the camera. When Steve gives him the gift, he doesn't know it's from Steve, but Nancy gives him the gift of the camera. When, you know, after he's picking up Will from the Wheeler house, and that scene.
Like, granted, like, if I look through, you know, rose-colored or rose-tinted glasses for my sugar heart, Jonathan and Nancy, it was like,
oh my god.
No, it's really from Nancy, but she's gonna say it's from, it's from Steve and me, but it's really from me. But at the same time, I thought that was a really great, subtle way to show character growth for Steve.
I know, and both me and you, like, after season 1, we were both like, we don't really want to like Steve, but we're probably going to end up liking Steve at some point, because he did some really shitty things in season 1.
Like, definitely he was the douchebag.
He was.
Season 1. Like, he was a straight-up douchebag of season 1, and, like, you wanted to hate him so much, and I love the fact that, like, after, I think it was, like, after, like, episode, I can't remember which one it was, what number it was, but towards the middle part of the season, you start seeing that gradual change.
Yeah.
In Steve. Because you have where it's right after he got his, ass.
Oh, yeah.
That he went back to the movie theater and he was like, all right, let me do this. Like, let me be the one to clean it up because I was the one who did that.
Yep.
Without actually saying I was the one who did that, but, let me actually do this. Let me clean it up. Let me kind of right something I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also see him start dropping those really toxic friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, God, you went from a person that I really, really did not like in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you were such a douche.
Mm-hmm. And
then, like, towards the end, when he's sitting up here, beating the shit out of the Demogorgon, like, I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I come together. But, Steve, you're not getting on my bad side right now, so I appreciate this.
Yeah. And his turnaround in season 2 was actually really amazing. Because when we first meet Steve Harrington in season 1, it's him and Nancy in the car, and they're he's having her read his paper to figure out if he needs to fix it. He does, because we all know he's not book smart. He's really not, unfortunately. He's not book smart. But that's why he has Nancy in his life.
Exactly. And I actually kind of like the fact that in season 1 you saw more of the, oh, we're gonna drink, we're gonna party, we're gonna just not care, and oh, Barb went missing, oh, well, just don't tell my parents what happened. To, all right, I want you to focus on this. Like, I kind of thinking about going to college. Like, help me out.
Yeah, that was really great. And then the fact that he was thinking of staying in Hawkins so he would see Nancy is actually really sweet. Like, I straight up believe, like, hardcore. Obviously, Steve really loves her, and he does her so much, and you really see it in the scene in the bathroom, when the bullshit scene is what I like to call it, when she's really drunk and obviously really hurting, and she just basically tells him that she doesn't love him. And it's just really sad, and you're like, man, Steve didn't deserve it, but we also understand.
Yeah. Well, even with that scene, that's still kind of a little bit of douchebag Steve coming out. In my opinion, because I don't care how bad a person hurts you. If someone is so inebriated that they're talking like that, you don't leave them to fend for themselves.
Oh, I know. That was the one part of that whole, like, party scene that kind of pissed me off. And then he gets mad at her later when Jonathan is the one who takes her home, because he left her there by herself. But he had to know that Jonathan would be the one to take her home, because he was the only one who she really knew there, and who was actually kind of watching her, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because Jonathan he has a weird character. He's a weird character, and it makes people not like him, because season 1 Jonathan was creepy in that same kind of way, but I think in season 2 it was meant in a different way, I guess. But also, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to talk about Jonathan.
He's definitely not very social inept, but he does struggle with some social interactions, such as the party and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, for me, the moment that, like, you could tell that Steve still really loved Nancy was the end, like the season finale, when he's watching her.
And then he goes,
he has that look.
That and before that was when he was like, hey, you should go with Jonathan and Joyce, because he's gonna need you, basically. That's he, like, literally, because he loves her so much, he wants her to be happy, he literally told her to go. Yep. And that's actually really sweet and amazing, and something that really shows his character growth. Because he could have been that asshole who was like, really...
You stay here with me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, that was definitely one of my favorite things, was him showing, hey, I mean, we're done. Like, we've already kind of established the fact that our relationship isn't going anywhere. Neither one of us is happy, because you're not happy, so I'm not happy in a sense. So, yeah, go be with the person who makes you happy. And that's literally when Good Guy Steve, well, one of the instances where Good Guy Steve came out. The other instance when Good Guy Steve came out was straight up Dustin.
I know, his relationship, and that was something that I was not expecting in season 1 that we would be getting in season 2, was Dustin and Steve bonding. Because even when the trailer came out and you saw the two of them together, I was like, what? This is weird.
What's going on here?
This is weird. How does that work?
Like, the fact, like, he grew from just caring about himself, to literally, as the memes on Tumblr say, the single mother of 6 high school kids, you know, like, was just, I really loved that twist. I really loved how they, you know, brought his character around to a complete 180.
Yeah.
And it was lovely, and just his interactions, not even with just Dustin, but like with when it was Lucas and Mad Max and Dustin at the junkyard. Like, the fact that he literally shoved Max out of the way, and he's like, look, if someone's gonna get got first, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Like, I love that, and I really appreciate the fact that they did that with his character. Also did not hurt that they had a new person to become the douchebag.
That's true. They gave us the, as the brothers like to call, like, the not alien related villain of season 2. We got Billy. That's his name.
Yeah,
because that's how bad, like, my brain just like went blank. I was like, "Is his name Billy?"
Billy and Max.
Yeah.
Definitely a great, like, when I first heard about them adding new characters, everyone's like, oh, Billy's gonna be kind of the new love interest for Nancy.
I was like, hell no. And that's not even from a, that was like not even from a, I like Jonathan for her standpoint. That was just, I don't know this character yet, and I don't think he would be a good fit for her yet. But like what you were getting from the information that they were giving us was not really helping me want to like him.
And then also, like, from a writer's standpoint, it didn't make sense. You already have that trope of a triangle, and it didn't seem like this was going to be the type of, to steal from anime, you know, a harem trope coming into play.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really did like the fact that they, in a sense, created a monster that wasn't like the typical alien, like, trans, you know, monster. So I thought that was really a good twist to it. But I also know a lot of people are like, oh, Billy, we should feel kind of sorry for Billy because he's being beaten up at home by his dad.
Dude,
like,
but that, like, gives you no, like, that doesn't change that you're being an asshole to everyone else.
It's kind of like, shouldn't you, like, try, it may be, like, I've never been in a situation like this, so maybe, you know, my opinion doesn't count or it doesn't matter, but whatever. But at the same time, it's like, if you are experiencing that yourself, shouldn't you want to at least try to break the cycle?
Yeah.
And not murder 3 kids on their bikes while speeding down the road?
Yep.
Just saying.
Or
take it out on your stepsister.
And also his reasoning for not liking Max is kind of really dumb. Like, I get it. Divorce happens.
Yeah, divorce happens. People get remarried.
And I understand that that's very troubling for kids and everything, but you can't do that to a little girl. You can't take it out on a child. Basically.
I guess because he has learned from his father that, you know, you always kind of show your strength against the weaker ones. He felt like Max was definitely his, you know, inferior person to him, so he felt like it was okay to do that to her. So, which, and I also did not know how I felt about the fact they were introducing another kid.
Oh yeah, Max. I'm still trying to figure out if I like the way they wrote her. Because some of her stuff is like, it's not bad. It's just, it doesn't, especially when you get to the part where 11 comes into the picture and she knows about her, it makes it weird.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, how, and actually I kind of like her interaction with 11, because it's kind of like, hey, you know, just being like, this is, like, the person that, like, all my friends are just, like, fangirling over.
Yeah.
Or fanboying over, and they love her so much. And it's kind of like, oh, hey, you know, it's so awesome to finally meet you.
Yeah, and 11 was not having, she was not having it, though. Which, because she was, I think, because probably all she could think about was the fact that scene in the gym where Max is trying to impress Mike, and she did not like that at all.
I don't think she was trying to impress Mike a lot.
Not a lot, just a little bit, so that he wouldn't keep, like, being mean to her all the time, because he felt like she was replacing 11 in their group.
Yeah, obviously it was not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I would like to just go on a little bit of a tangent here.
Go ahead.
A natural curly-haired individual, redhead individual, I do really appreciate the fact that the hair and makeup and stylists did justice to her long curly hair. It was not the nice curls. It was not like, oh, little corkscrew curls.
Yeah.
No, it was like the deep wave curls that looked natural. And if that is her natural hair, I am so glad they left it alone.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, when I had my longer hair, that's how my hair looked.
Mm-hmm.
It was the curls every so often with maybe a few waves in between. It was just a refreshing. It was just so refreshing to see that, because 9 times out of 10 you have like the people with the waves or with the corkscrew curls that you got from the curling iron, and it's like, no, those are not natural curls.
Yeah, me as a person who has really curly hair, I actually really agree with that so much.
See? Because like sometimes it's like it doesn't matter what you do to your hair. If you put mousse in it, if you just let it air dry, your hair is not going to be curly all the way around, especially with her length of hair that she had. You're gonna have the waves in there. You're gonna have the ones that like kind of wave at the top with the curls at the bottom. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That was just like my little tangent on that. I was so happy. Oh my god, I was so happy they did that for her. But I do like the fact that, and going back to the scene in the gym with Mike and her, I do like that they did that.
Yeah, I do too.
I do like the fact that they had Mike kind of being a douche.
Yeah.
And being, in a sense, the bad guy, because of the fact that, and don't get me wrong, all the kids were traumatized, all the kids had something happen to them, but taking Will out of the equation and just having it focus on Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, the person who's going to be most affected by Elle leaving is going to be Mike, obviously.
Yeah.
So for him not to be very welcoming for another individual, especially another girl, made a lot of sense, and I so appreciated that.
I did too, but then after a certain point, you were just like, Mike, I need you to chill out, because you're being a bit too emo.
and I totally agree with that, but at the same time, that at that age.
No, I understand it. I definitely do. I definitely get it.
As much as like us, especially as adults, we're kind of like, dude, get over it. It'll be fine. Obviously, she's not replacing Elle. There's no way she could. She doesn't have any superpowers.
Exactly.
Not gonna happen.
And actually, the funny thing about that is, I remember thinking that she was going to be one of the ones who had superpowers, because they were giving us all kind of information before the series came out about how Max was going to could possibly be one of the other people, like 11 or 8 or whatever. But that didn't even end up being the case, which made it even more interesting for her as a character. And but it didn't make me not like her. It just made it more interesting to like get to know her a little bit more.
Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm totally thinking about growing my hair back out. Back to that length. Let it curl, get rid of the bangs, and trying to find her outfits and cosplay or dress up for her for Halloween. I'm just saying, thinking about it, because I loved her character that much.
I mean, why not?
But I do, I loved their writing this season.
It was so good.
The writing the writing first season was phenomenal.
Yeah,
they
really dialed it up. They dialed it up so much in a good way. Yeah.
And then speaking of more new characters, Bob.
Yes. Okay. So funny story. So we're about to start talking about Bob. When I was recording the Punisher podcast last night, I had told them that I was recording this one today, and they were like, "Bob newbie, you got to talk about Bob." I was like, "Of course." But they were like, "You got to make a whole section about Bob. It's justice for Bob." It was like, "Yeah, we do got to talk about Bob."
Yeah, you have to, like,
he's so good.
Talk about this second season and not talk about Bob.
I love Bob.
I will tell you a little story.
Okay.
about Bob. Alright, so I binge watched the second season with a friend of mine. His name is Tyrone. Mm-hmm. You know, I've talked about Tyrone before with you.
Yeah.
And so we were like, we were kind of, you know, like feeling Bob's character. We're like, all right, we appreciate this.
Uh-huh.
So the next night was a Halloween party that my roommate and I were hosting. So everyone was over, and one guy was like, hey, do you mind if I watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
We were like, sure, go ahead. That's fine. Like, no one's really watching or listening to music, so we're all playing games. Go ahead. So Tyrone, me, and a bunch of our friends and my roommate were sitting at a table playing a card game, and all of a sudden we hear Bob start talking. Uh-huh. And just across the table, Tyrone and I make eye contact. We raise our drinks to each other, like, the Bob. It's like a swing, because, like, Bob, man, you just Bob.
That's amazing.
That Joyce was getting another love interest that wasn't Hoffa.
I know, we were both, because I remember I was the one who told you about it, because I saw the picture and I was like, I am not okay with this. And then I showed you, I was like, they were both, oh, that's Sean Astin. We know him.
Like, I love you, Sean,
but no, not this one. No, you cannot do that to me, because Joyce and Hopper are everything. But
why?
But actually, Bob became like so amazing to us.
Bob became one of my favorite characters.
He really did. Yes, he really did.
Like,
I love Bob.
Just like from him dressing up as a vampire, going like, I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
To him just being like full on, you know, techie nerd with all of his stuff and working at Radio Shack and like all this. It was beautiful, and he did that character so much justice, and for the fact that, and I will say this, I knew someone was going to die this season.
Yeah, I figured someone was. I think they told us that someone was gonna die, but we were all like, "It better not be none of the kids. It can't be the kids."
Yeah. But I think for me, like, I kind of knew after the season finale of season 1, I knew that someone was gonna die because of how clean the first season was. With that, nobody that we cared about died. Yeah, Will had some issues, especially in the finale, but nobody was ever really in mortal danger, because you had a sense that Elle was gone, but when you saw Hopper putting the food out, you're like, all right, so there is like a good chance she's still alive. So like the sense of just being final for a character wasn't there.
Yeah, that's true.
So you knew it was coming this season. So, in the fact that they created such a loving character.
Someone that you really, really liked.
Yes.
And then that episode, by the way, the one where he dies.
Spoilers, if anyone hasn't seen this.
They should. There's going to be a warning at the beginning of the episode. It's going to be like, hey, you should not listen to this. You have not watched any of Stranger Things at all.
But at the same time, it's like, why are you listening to this?
Exactly.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Oh my god,
that episode was the most tense I've ever been watching Stranger Things. Was that episode, because it was very scary. Like, not really scary, but like the tension and not knowing what was gonna happen. Really, it was kind of terrifying.
Sense of dread.
Yeah.
That was there. And, like, that's something I like with just even, like, thrillers and good scary television shows like this.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because I don't do scary movies, but I do scary television shows, go figure. Or, you know, a good horror genre video game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can have the jump scares, and there were a bunch of jump scares in this
show. Yeah, it definitely was.
But the sense of dread that you got from that episode and from that scene, is what really pushed it. For like, what really got me was the sense of like, oh God, is he gonna make it? Oh God,
is he gonna make
happen?
it? And then when you think he is safe, he fucking dies.
Okay. We got here. I want to say my piece about this.
Okay.
Because I got into an argument with my friend.
Okay.
About this. Alright. I think he could have survived, but he did a premature celebration.
He did.
He did a premature celebration.
He did. He really did.
He shouldn't have stopped. Like, Brandon Joyce was right there, and he's like, yay, I'm here, I'm fine. Then done.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you see Joyce, you keep running. Y'all run out the door.
Exactly.
Stop.
And then the most heartbreaking part about that scene isn't just the fact that we have to watch it happen, like, the end after Hopper has grabbed Joyce, which is the part that I'm about to talk about, is because, you know, Hopper knew she was going through it, but he promised to keep her safe. Though he really didn't have to promise it at all because he's always going to keep Joyce safe because he cares about her, as we know. But, like, the Joyce screaming, and you know she's in so much pain, and she didn't want to leave him there, and it's just, oh my God. I cry every time. I've only watched it through 2 times, but, like, it kills me every time.
It's just the fact that, like, and like you said, the fact that she's there to witness.
Yeah.
All of that. Like, he was definitely the unspoken hero of that.
He really was. Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, he did, granted, like, obviously Jonathan really didn't warm up to him all that much.
He didn't, because remember when they were doing the movie night, he was like, I don't really like this guy, Bob. But then he made him laugh shortly after when he was... Yeah. But at the same time, we know Jonathan was not a fan of Bob, really, that much. But
I will say this, I definitely loved his interactions with the kids. Like, with Jonathan, and especially when, you know, he didn't know exactly what was going on with Will. But he knew, like, he was having issues, having nightmares, episodes, and stuff like that. And so, for him to be like, hey, let me tell you about when I was a kid, which, by the way, I love the fan theories. Don't know if they have been confirmed that he was referring to Pennywise in those.
I don't know about... Tell me about this, because I don't know what this is.
Oh, okay. So, the fan theory running around is that the scene where Bob tells Will about the clown that invaded his dreams was Pennywise.
That makes sense, actually, yeah.
Because his character is actually from Maine.
Oh, shit!
The same area where the film, where the plot of it takes place.
Yeah. Oh,
and
wow.
They were sitting there saying around the time that Pennywise and it took place was around Bob's childhood, like would have been around the same time he was a kid.
Oh,
so they think, or people are saying, oh, well, maybe he was one of the kids from it.
Oh my gosh.
As a nod to Will, or what's his name? The actor who plays Finn.
Oh, Finn Wolfhard, yeah. Yeah.
Nod to him, and for him being in the remake of it.
Yeah.
So
that's actually really interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
Going around. I don't know if it's been confirmed. But that is like one of the big things that everyone's like, yeah, they're talking about Pennywise, and it makes sense because he's sitting here talking about how the clown invaded his dreams.
Yeah.
Kept chasing him. Terrifying him, but really couldn't catch him until he was like, go away.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that scene in the car, though, it also kind of scared me at the same time, because the way it reminded, I don't know, the loudness of him saying "go away" to, that, and then it eventually echoed with Will when he gets trapped in the upside down for that, that scene at the football field, and Joyce is trying to tell him to come back to them, but it wasn't working. Like, what he really tried to do what Bob said, and it didn't help at all, and that made me so sad.
I remember watching that scene where Bob's like, "Go away, go away, go away." I'm like, Bob, you're an angel.
He really is.
You are an angel, and we appreciate what you're doing. But that's not going to work.
Yep, that's exactly what I said. I was shouting at my TV. I was like, "Oh, but that won't help in this situation. It's not the same."
It's like, but I do appreciate the fact that he was like, "I know a way. Let me connect with him." Through my Pennywise traumatic situations. But like, just, and I loved the fact like he was granted, as much as I love Hopper and Joyce together, he was a really good fit for Joyce.
He really was. And one of the things that makes me really sad is I remember the scene where he mentions that his family has a place in, where was it that they were supposed to be moving or could have been moved to? He told Joyce that he had a house that his family were going to sell, and they could move away from Hawkins if she wanted to.
Oh, I don't remember. Hold up.
Google for me.
I'm Googling. I don't remember.
Because I just remember that part, actually, even me, myself, I was just like, I know this can never happen, but that was such a sweet thing for him to want to give Joyce and the kids a better life outside of Hawkins. So, yeah.
Yeah, like, I love the fact he was like, look, let's just leave. You guys have had a very traumatic experience here. Let's just, start over. And then, no matter what, he was always there. Like, he accepted the fact that Hopper was gonna,
be a part of the life, yeah.
Yeah. He was very accepting about that. And I would just like to point out, I just did a Google search or a Yahoo search for where did Bob want Joyce to move to in Stranger Things. Joyce Byer, Stranger Things Wiki is number 1.
Yay.
Number 2 is Joyce and Hopper.
That's so good.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
That's so good. Everyone ships it.
And then further on, it's just straight up why Joyce and Hopper need to get together. Like, it's just...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the thing, apparently. So, yeah, like, I really appreciated the fact that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love the fact that, especially in that one scene where they went to go and rescue Hopper.
Yes.
And Joyce is like, oh my god, are you okay? And then it's like,
Hey Bob.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim. And they're not even, there's no, bad feelings toward each other. They just
not at all.
Understand that, hey, we both are in Joyce's life. And that's actually one of my favorite scenes just in general, because you see part of the scene is Joyce and Hopper, in their moment together. And then the other part is Hopper slowly slipping out of it because he knows that Bob is right there and he can't be that way really with her because she's not available.
Which I appreciate. I appreciate all of their dynamics with that.
Yeah.
But I will say that I love the fact that he was the one when Hopper was like, well, I gotta go. Like, I'm gonna be the main hero.
Yeah. Bob was like, oh, no. Do you know basic?
He's like, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to hack into this? Do you know
He was like, I'll wing it. And he's like, no, I'm going with you.
He's like, sit down, I got this. Don't worry about it. I got this. All right. I am not finding that information right now, so we'll look for it later. But yeah, no, like, I really appreciated the fact that, like, he knew that he wasn't really, I don't really even know how to, like, word this correctly, but he really didn't have the right stuff.
Oh, because when they were having lunch that time on the bench, he was very, enthusiastic at the fact that he was even, like, dating her because he felt like she was so top tier compared to him. Like, he's the nerdy guy, and she was, like, maybe, I don't think Joyce was a cheerleader, but that's how I'm gonna compare it. She was basically... She was basically popular. She was very popular. And her and Hopper obviously were, like, really good friends in high school. So
I think they dated.
I feel like they might have. That's the only way to, like, even think about all the scenes they've had together and, like, the way they've interacted. And then what we got in season 2 of them talking about how they sneak cigarettes in between classes and stuff. That's, like, the only thing I can think of.
If I remember correctly, there is a scene in season 1 where one of the police officers make mention of the fact that they dated in high school.
Oh, I do not remember that. I do remember they're thinking that they were, like, hooking up, but they weren't at all. But I remember that.
That scene where they might have mentioned it, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to go back and double check on that. But yeah, like, I really want to say that they said that they did date in high school.
Huh.
So, I think maybe they didn't date. Maybe you're right. Maybe
I think they were, like, really good friends.
Lonnie in high school too, but, like,
yeah, that's probably how. Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think she dated Lonnie, but her and Hopper were, like, really good friends, and they always hung out pretty much all the time.
They needed to date.
It would have been really great if they did, because it would mean more to, like, all their, like, how I feel they're the most slow burn couple. We would have much Stranger Things, because they're still not together yet.
I swear, if they have not dated, and, like, he's liked her since high school. And,
I think that's what we're getting. Like, oh my God. Hopper he's that guy.
He's that guy.
Who's loved his best friend since high school and just didn't go for it ever. But now he wants to go for it.
They've been through some shit. And he can go through it. And he wants to hook up with her now because they've been through some shit.
So much shit.
But yeah, like, in the fact that, but Bob was like, yeah, I have to be the one to do this. Mm-hmm. Just keep him safe, get him out of here.
Yeah. He was like, promise me even if I don't make it, you have to get them out. All of them. I was like, oh, Bob, you're too good. You're too good for this world.
That damn mop.
Oh my God.
That damn mop. It's like, you saw it and you're like, no.
Yep.
And, like, the minute it fell, I was like, he's dead.
Yep.
He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, nope, he's dead. He is just straight up dead.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I'm actually surprised because they didn't show it last season. That they actually showed somebody, and Bob no less, getting eaten.
I know.
Because, like, last season you just saw, like,
the aftermath, basically.
You saw the aftermath, or you saw it attack.
Yeah, that's it. It's all they gave us.
Yeah.
I think they felt bolder this season in order to, like, be able to show stuff like that to us. Like, especially the thing with Terry Ives, like, when we actually got to see what they had been hinting to us on Twitter for, like, the longest with the sunflower and everything. Mm-hmm. When you finally understand what it meant, it actually traumatized me a little bit. Because of the pulse they did to her brain and all that. Yes. They dialed everything up more. I think they felt more bold this season, knowing what they could do now that they've kind of put everybody in the world that we're in now. So.
Yeah, I appreciate all of it, and to kind of go onto that new train of thought, I know a lot of people did not like 11's journey.
It wasn't like a straightforward journey, really, is the thing. I think they wanted her to just immediately be back with everyone.
To the conclusion that, oh, well, she's with Hopper.
Yeah.
Hopper's going to get her back out in the world.
Yeah.
She's going to go find, like, if she finds her mom, okay, well, that's fine. She's going to make the decision that she needs to come back because Hopper's her real family.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, because, like, I will say I was one of them. Episode 7.
Yep, it's the episode. It's the most. No one really likes that episode, and I actually understand why. But I do like that they gave us a kind of standalone episode with 11 and her meeting someone else that is like her, but also different from her. I get what they did. I get why they did it. But it's not the most appreciated episode in the season.
I think a lot of people just were like, it's a complete 180. It's something completely different from what you are already seeing.
Yeah.
You are seeing, a brand new town. You're seeing different dynamics and stuff like that. For a lot of times it didn't make sense, but at the same time, it kind of did, because 11 needed to, in a sense, come to the decision on her own that where she needed to be was back in Hawkinsville with Hopper, saving her friends.
Yep.
But at the same time, she also needed to know what it was like out in the real world.
Without all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, one of my favorite scenes is actually in that episode. And I remember last time I was watching, I told you I wanted to skip to it. And it's the one when she actually goes back and wants to find out how everyone's doing in Hawkins. And it's the scene where Hopper is trying to get in touch with her and tell her that he's sorry, that he knows she's probably upset with him and all of this. And that scene makes me cry so much, because you realize how much Hopper really loves her and really just wants the best for her.
It's so good.
And their dynamic in this season is, like, my number one favorite, like, bond, like, just familiar bond is Hopper and 11. Because it's just, it's amazing.
Hopper and 11, so good.
It's so good.
Oh my God. So good. Like, and I love the fact that they did that. I really do. Because, like, out of everyone, like, to be honest, probably Hopper was the best one to take care of her.
Really was. It really was. Because he can deal with a lot of shit, basically. I mean, it wasn't great to see her throwing things at him at a certain point, but he's the best one to give her, like, a grown-up lesson into, like, hey, you can't always do this just because you're not getting what you want.
True. I mean, but at the same time, like, he was able to be like, all right, she's throwing a tantrum. You can't do that. Like, this is what's going to happen when you throw tantrums. Done. Like, come on.
Yeah.
The only difference is, like, you're dealing with a teenager because she's getting ready to be a teenager.
Yeah, getting ready to be a teenager.
You're dealing with a preteen who's got abilities to move things with her mind.
And she's very emotional. She's actually more emotional, I think, than most kids, because she's been through so much. And she doesn't quite understand how it works yet. Like, why she feels like this and how she's supposed to act, like, if she was normal. But she's not.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And I love their dynamic. It was so cute. And I agree, like, that scene where he was on the radio telling her he was sorry, it wasn't her, it was him, and all this other stuff. I was like, oh God, my heart.
Yeah.
Stop. Just stop.
And
but,
then,
like, I really loved seeing that new and different dynamic
Yeah.
with that episode. Like, is it my favorite?
No. It's definitely not. It's at the bottom of my list of favorite episodes in season 2. But I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's like I definitely appreciate a lot of what they did with that episode. The fact, like, it was, in a sense, her, in an odd sort of way, her hero journey.
Yep, pretty much.
She had to go and do this on her own so she could come to the conclusion that, you know, maybe being out in the real world is not where she is needed.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's needed is back in Hawkinsville with her friends and her family.
Mm-hmm. So,
like, I really do appreciate that they took, and I also really appreciate that the fact that it is the Russo brothers, right?
Duffer Brothers.
No. Thank you.
Here you go.
Sorry, I just watched the Infinity War trailer.
It's okay.
On my mind. So I really appreciate the fact that they stood by it.
Yeah.
They were like, there's no other way we could really make Eleven's journey complete without this. There's no way we really could justify her coming to that, you know, conclusion on her own if we don't do this. So we have to go through this. Like,
yeah.
she's got to do this.
Yep.
So I really love the fact, like, they did not back down from that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, you know, let any negative response about it kind of, like, hinder their opinion on it. Like, I love the fact they were, like, they just, you know, they stood by it and they were just like, look, whether you like it or not, this happened. And
actually, it actually helped Eleven a lot, especially in the last episode where she's having to she has to focus in order to stop the mind flayer from getting into Hawkins, and she has to use both hands for the first time because she only ever uses one to, like, do her thing, and then she uses both, and then she's lifted off the ground. That's how much power she had to use, and she's, like, probably after that, I think she would have to sleep for, like, a really long time, because the mental drain alone, oh my god, but she focused on those lines that Kali had told her, things to help her focus to control her power in order to save everyone, basically. So,
like, I loved it. I thought it was a great thing, and on top of that, as a person from Atlanta, it was really nice to watch those scenes and be like, I know that place, I know that road, I drive down that road all the time. So I will say that was really fun. But yeah, like, I really, and the pacing was amazing this season.
Oh, I know, and I wasn't sure how they were gonna go with it because obviously now we know somewhat. We know those characters. Well, the ones we do know. We knew those characters, but we didn't know how quick they were gonna go with the story. So yeah.
Like, I totally agree, because, like, because normally, especially with like a second season, you usually have a filler episode.
Yeah.
That just kind of was like meh. But, like, all of the episodes were, you know, I didn't feel like they were fillers.
No, not at all.
You know, they were great. They were essential to the storyline. And, you know, it was just, I loved it. I loved it so much. Like, all of the things. Just all the things were just amazing with it. But I will say another aspect of the show, of this season, that I really liked was the strength of Joyce.
Yes, I actually want to talk about Joyce a lot because people had a bad feeling. They just didn't like her in season 1, which was weird to me because she's, like, my favorite. I love Joyce Byers more than anyone, really.
Like, okay.
And it was like, your mom, like, you are a mom who knows their son is alive, and, like, in season 1, she knew her son was alive, and she no one was listening to her, really. So of course she's gonna act out and be really distraught about it when her family was telling her that no, we have to have a funeral for him. And then, no, we have to move on. And then, like, she's amazing. She did so much to get her son back. And then...
I was gonna say, she was, like, out of everyone in season 1.
Yeah.
I would have said she probably was the one person with the most determination.
She really was. Yeah.
For the simple fact, like, she let nothing...
Like, literally nothing.
Steered her way from finding her son.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, she did not care. She was just like, if I can get my son back, I'm going to get my son back. And I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I don't care what people say about me. I'm getting my son back.
Yeah.
So, just to, like, hear that people hated her in season 1.
Yeah, they said she was so whiny and stuff. I'm like, excuse me, if your kid was... You knew your kid was alive, and people were saying all these crazy things about your family. Like, they were saying that Jonathan killed his brother and all this stuff. Like, there's a reason why she reacted that way. You would do anything for your kid, basically.
And even going, like, based off of the fact, Jonathan, too, with that. Mm-hmm. Not only is she a single mother.
Yeah.
Her youngest is missing.
Yeah.
Her deadbeat ex-husband is trying to get money out of it.
Yep. That pissed me off so much. That part. That, like, literally pissed me off.
You have a sheriff, in a sense, who, like, he's doing what he can, but at the beginning didn't really want to do anything and didn't want to listen to her. Because
he didn't know if she was telling the truth. Like, he wanted to believe, because we didn't know at that point, really, what their relationship was, Joyce and Hopper. But eventually, I think he like, oh, well, maybe she's actually right about this, so I'm going to do everything I can to help her.
Right, but, like, even at the beginning when she's like, my child...
Yeah, he was not even...
He was not really wanting to listen to her. So, and then on top of all of that, she still finds time...
Yeah.
...to, in a sense, help Jonathan deal with his struggles as well.
Yep.
Like, he helps her, but she's sitting up there, and she's still helping him, too. Because I even remember the scene where I think it's after he beats the crap out of Steve.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, like, you think you're all alone out there.
But you're not.
In the world. But you're not. You're
yes.
not alone.
Oh, my God. Yes. I love that. I love her. She's, like, and even not even just her own kids. 11. Like, with 11, she straight up was, like, motherly to her. Like, and it wasn't even just that she knew that 11 could help her find her son. It was she knew this little girl was in a bad place, and she wanted to help her.
Because, like, even, like, in the scene with the sensory
deprivation check, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where, instead of, like, because, in a sense, great, comparison. Penny Dreadful.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have the father-daughter dynamic with Vanessa and Mina's dad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blanking on his name.
I can't remember it either.
Horrible.
But
horrible. And this is a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen this show. If you haven't, if you love literature characters such as, like, Frankenstein,
basically all of the classics.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So much recommend it.
It's so good.
But when Vanessa becomes possessed and you know, she is able to kind of go to that brink where she could, in a sense, reach out to Mina to find her. You know, in that sense, Mina is trying to reach out to her and everything like that. Sir Malcolm, that's his name.
Yep, there we go.
Okay. Sir Malcolm, you know, could have been like, no, rest, you take care of yourself, this, that, and the other. Instead, he's like, you push. You find my daughter. I don't care if you die, you find my daughter. And then Ethan has to come in and save her, but that's
different.
That's a completely different and not appropriate to talk in this podcast. But granted, they do have a volatile father-daughter relationship in that scene, or in that season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had a moment where his biological daughter could be found through this girl he kind of, in a sense, has become his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And he chooses his biological daughter over this daughter, and to the point where it could have killed her.
Yeah.
Whereas
Joyce
had this opportunity where this individual, this young child who, you know, could be, in a sense, become like a daughter to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty much a phone call.
Yeah.
To her biological son.
Mm-hmm.
And if she would have pushed her to keep following him, she could have really, gotten into some serious trouble.
Yeah.
So instead, especially when 11 started getting scared, she's like, no, come back to us. And she was the one who almost got into the pool with her, was holding her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she chose that child's safety. Like, she knew her son was there. She knew, what she had to do in order to save her son. But she still chose to, in a sense, take care of this girl, take care of this young child.
Yeah.
Instead of pushing to be like, I want you to find my child now. Like, I don't care if you're scared. I don't care if you die.
Mm-hmm.
You will find my son.
Yeah.
So the fact, like, it's so mind-boggling that people called her whiny and called her, and just hated her for the simple fact that she was showing so much motherly strength and just, like, pure determination, not even just to find and help her son, but also later on to help this young girl.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like, this season. And I love the fact that we haven't even gotten to season 2 yet about her.
I know. There's so much Joyce to talk about.
It is so wonderful, because this was a character that, like, you knew was not the main focus. The main focus was on the kids in 11 in the beginning, and then Joyce her family kind of slowly made their way in.
Yeah.
And then season 2, when Will really started having those episodes a lot more, and they were trying to figure out, like, literally her looking at every single doctor like, all right, listen up, motherfuckers. you will find a way to help my son. I'm not going to sit on here, on my hands, sit on my ass, and wait for you to get your head out of yours to help my son. You will tell me right now how you are going to help my son. No more bullshit.
Yeah.
No more of this crap.
Yeah.
Tell me now how you will help my son, and I'm not leaving until you do.
Yeah. I also hated all the doctors except the guy, the one guy who actually wanted to help them.
I called him Doc. Like,
I can't remember his name, which for some reason I can't remember it now. But y'all couldn't see it, but Jennifer she made a little gesture with her phone.
I am flashing my phone so I can look up, because I don't know why we didn't do this in the first place, but I'm looking at Stranger Things IMDb, so I should the character's name and everything, because I am totally unprepared for things.
But yeah.
It was just, I agree, because, like, I did not like any of those doctors.
I was even wary of him at first when we first met him.
I was too.
Because I was
Dr.
like...
Sam Owens is his
Okay,
name.
Dr. Owens, yeah, okay. Yeah. I was wary of him because, obviously, Dr. Brennan, who he got last season, the crazy guy, or Papa, as 11 calls him still. We got him a little bit in this season, because he's part of 11's trauma, so she's still...
It was nice to see the flashback.
The little flashback. But they did hint that Brendan might be still alive somehow. I don't know how that works, but...
Like, it doesn't make sense, because, like, he totally got, like, dogpiled on.
He definitely did. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do that in season 3, because I'm assuming he's coming back in season 3 at some point, but
I will say, like, I will agree, I was very wary of Dr. Sam, because, like, I called him Doc throughout the entire series. because obviously you knew they were all like, oh yeah, the company, the military has nothing to do with this, and this, and that. It's like, okay, you're a lying ass, individual. Like, obviously the military is going to have some interaction in here, and you're just lying to these poor people, so I don't trust you at all. But I love the fact that they knew the audience would not trust any sort of facility, any sort of doctors or professionals or anything like that, for the simple fact they knew that the audience at least knew that there would be a connection to the lab in some form or fashion. Yeah. So I appreciate the fact they knew that and they turned it on its head. Because Dr. Sam later became a member of the team. He really did, and I was actually really surprised by that. But I was so happy. Me too. Because in the end, he does something really big for Hopper and 11 by getting him the adoption certificate, where she becomes her first name is actually her actual name, Jane. Yep. Jane Hopper. She becomes his daughter legally, which is super, like, I'm really emotional about that. It's so wonderful. Like, it was a great way to end that. It's so many feels. So many feels on that. But I will say, like, the moment I realized that I could trust that doctor was when he was like, all right, what are we going to do to help Will when Will became possessed? Yeah. And he became a host body and everything else. They're like, well, we can just let him die and just, like... Yeah, and he was just like, no. Basically, he was like, y'all are terrible. Y'all are terrible. We are saving this child. Yeah. So when he started, because, like, Dr. Brenner or Papa, he would have just let Will die. He didn't care. Yeah. The only reason why he let Hopper and Joyce get to Will is because Hopper sold out 11. Yeah. Which, I have weird... Like, I get why he did that in season 1, but at the same time, it made me sad. It made me sad, too, but I also understand and again, one thing I appreciate about Hopper is the fact that he takes a look at the big picture. He does, and his whole mission in season 1 was to get Will back. And so he had to do something, especially because he didn't have that connection with 11 yet. He had to do something that was gonna be bad to make sure that he survived, or they got a shot of him living. So he had to do it, and it's like one of the baddest things he's ever done, and he has to live with that, which I think is one of the reasons why he did the Egos at the end. I think so too. I really think so too, because in a way to almost atone for it. But I also appreciate the fact that Hopper's willing to do whatever it takes. Which is such a change from when we met him on the very first episode, because he was lazy, really. He was really lazy, and then he turned into this really awesome. I will basically risk my life for everyone, basically. Yep. And like, Hopper. I love me some Hopper. But yeah, like, and that was another thing too, that, because I really thought Dr. Sam had died. Like, I did too, and then we see him in the stairwell, and Hopper does the thing to his leg with the belt. Yeah. He created a tourniquet. Yep, thank you. Leg. I couldn't remember the word. That's okay. That's a theme for today too. But yeah, like, he created the tourniquet for his leg, and like, at that point I was like, all right, like, I'm totally digging this, because this is giving you a completely new perspective on Doctor. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do next season. Yeah, with him. Especially because authority figures. Especially because the lab is now completely shut down. No one can get in there anymore. It's moved out. It's gone. All this other stuff. It's gone. Thankfully. Now that we brought that up, because one of the reasons why it is shut down is because
Jancy basically did their investigative thing again.
Jancy.
But I guess before we get to Jancy, because what got us to that was Barb. Once again, we finally got justice for Barb. Finally. Oh my god.
So, when season 2 dropped.
Yeah.
Everyone at work, granted, like, I binge watched it over the weekend and stuff like that. People at work were like, "Oh, I haven't seen it yet," this and that and the other, and I was just like, "It's so good." And they're like, "Well, what's
Same.
one thing what's one thing you could say that you could be like, not spoily, but kind of like give a hint?" I was like, "Justice for Barb." Just justice for Barb. Like, that's all you can really say.
Yeah.
It's like, that was one thing, like, I full on appreciated, was the fact that you literally got justice for Barb.
Yep.
And I love the fact that, and I loved, it was a nice nod to her in the beginning, I think it was the first episode, where Nancy and Steve
go to dinner at the family. Actually, one of my favorite parts about that scene is Steve's line about the KFC. It's a feeling of good. It's so good.
It was so, like, really? Did you really do
Yeah. That was so Steve, too.
Oh my god. But I appreciated the fact that, like, when Nancy saw the moving sign, she's like, "What is going on?" And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get Barb back. We hired this private investigator, best in the United States kind of deal. We will get our girl back. We're gonna get Barb back." And Nancy's like, "This cannot no."
Yeah, she wants to tell them so bad but Steve doesn't agree to that. Because he's scared, basically. I feel like and I get why he is, because everything that had happened to all of them, he honestly just wants to forget all of that. I feel like he just wants to have a normal life with Nancy, and it's just
it's not gonna happen.
Especially because Nancy, she's so affected by Barb because she was her best friend. And she feel like she let her down because she didn't she did something really bad, which was having sex with Steve. She did. She knows it. She knows that she got Barb killed. She even says it. She's like, "I got Barb killed. I killed her," essentially. And
I'm not gonna lie on that. Yeah,
it's something that she finally dealt with in season 2, was the fact that she's the reason why her best friend died, and she wants to atone for it in a way, and Steve won't let her do it.
Yeah. No, I will say this before people, start being like, "Oh, well, really, technically, it wasn't Nancy." Okay, yeah.
We know it technically is not Nancy, but we know what actions led to her death was Nancy.
Like, if Nancy had listened to Barb and been like, "Yo, dude, let's go home. This is not right. You're gonna act like your normal self. Let's just go home," instead of being like, "Oh no, I want to go sleep with Steve."
Yeah.
In my whole thing is like, okay, you want to sleep with Steve? That's cool. Go ahead and sleep with Steve. But do me a favor, and if I'm with a friend and I want to bang a guy, I'm not going to be like, "Yo, dude, could you wait while I bang him?"
Yeah.
And then drive me home. Or instead, if you want to just go home, leave me stranded, so you can feel terrible because you left me stranded.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to find a way to be like, "All right, I'm thinking about banging this dude tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive my car, and I'm going to meet you here. So if you want to leave, you can leave. You don't have to wait for me." And I know she said you can go ahead and go.
Yeah.
But Barb's not going to do that. Barb's
No,
going to
she didn't. She literally waited. That's when she was by the pool.
Yeah.
And her hand's bleeding and everything, and that's basically what happened. Barb is a good friend. She was such a good friend that she wasn't going to leave Nancy. Exactly. Even though Nancy wasn't thinking about Barb. She was thinking about herself, and...
She wanted the D.
She did. She wanted the D. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so, I do like the fact that Nancy was like, all right, it's time to bring justice.
Mm-hmm.
Time for all of this to end. I want to tell her. And I love the ideas and the schemes that her and Jonathan come up with.
Yeah.
The fake out and everything else. And then on top of that, the fact they were like, all right, well, we need to get a confession from them.
Mm-hmm.
And they fake it out, they get caught, they get taken by Dr. Sam to the lab to say stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't want, this and that and the other, incriminating stuff that they record.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the conspiracy theory dude.
It's so good! Because we meet him before, when he was talking to Hopper, trying to get Hopper, because he's talking about 11, is who essentially, he's calling her the Russian girl, or whatever, because he thinks because this is the time period when the communists and all that stuff was going on in the world. Yeah. So, he was trying to tell Hopper about 11, essentially, and Hopper already knows who 11 is, but he's basically ignoring the conspiracy dude.
He's like, I'm not dealing with this. It's like, dude, come on, dude. But I appreciated that entire scene, because if it wasn't for that conspiracy theory dude, we would not have gotten the awkward trust issues. I don't have trust issues.
That was the most tropey scene I've ever had. The one where it's panning back and forth between Jonathan and Nancy after he's told them, he's basically deduced them each about themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And it's panning, they're like, trust issues? I don't have trust issues. And then I forget whatever Nancy says. And then eventually they just both go to the fucking door. And
so good.
But we all knew where it was going.
God, yeah. Like, everybody knew that they were going to bang at least at some point. They were going to have sex. Like,
yeah.
It's just, it was there. It was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we didn't even talk about the scene before that. The hotel room scene.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're really gonna get into this.
We're gonna get into that, because that scene is the worst.
With only waiting a month.
That's still, man, that line in Jonathan's face when she's like, I waited, and then he goes, only a month, and she was just like, and I feel like, I don't know, I understand both of their points of view on it, as someone who pined after some people before, and all that, but it's also just like, Nancy, you still went back to Steve, even though you could have just not went back to Steve.
Like, I kind of understand that, and like, and I definitely agree with the whole, like, Jonathan being like, yeah, you waited only a month and everything else, because she was like, well, I was waiting for you to, get established with your family, and he's like, dude, you only waited a month.
But also, Jonathan isn't the type who would literally take her away from Steve.
Exactly. So the fact that, because, like, they were never separated, they were never broken up or anything like that in season 1.
Yeah.
They had issues, they had problems, and yes, it was pretty clear that they had broken up, but it was never fully stated.
Yeah.
As it was with this season.
Yeah.
So, like, it kind of made sense a little bit as to why she went back with him, because, like, he was always there waiting for her.
Yeah.
Especially with the fact, like, he came and he apologized and everything else.
Yeah.
So, and this is really, as a shipper, this is probably weird for me to say, but it wasn't fair to Steve.
No, it really wasn't. Actually, I understand all three of their points. Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan on this. Like, even I think most of the Jancy shippers have that same viewpoint that, hey, we ship Jancy, but we understand Steve, and we understand Nancy, and we understand John. We understand all of their parts in it, but it doesn't make any of them bad people for having these feelings or not having these feelings towards each other. So it's just like, and some people don't understand that, but overall, we all understand that.
Yeah, and I will say this, I appreciate the throwback to the scars.
Oh yes, yeah. I actually wrote something on that.
Knew it was gonna happen.
So yeah, that was actually a really cute scene. Was you still got yours? It was adorable.
Mine's longer. Really.
I was like, yeah, really, Nancy, okay.
But I did love the fact that they did that. Like, it was a very cute nod to it, because I mean, a lot of fanfics were like, come on, if you do not reference the scars, you're a terrible person in a sense. Like, because like it was a route, like it was a reminder of what they went through and stuff like that in season 1, and it was a great kind of like foundation reminder in a sense.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that like they didn't tell anybody, but it was them who brought down them and the conspiracy theory dude.
Yeah.
Who brought down the lab.
Yeah. I think that was actually a really good thing for them, really, too, was, hey, we know what we did, but the world doesn't have to know that it was us. But they know it was the conspiracy dude, because his name was on it, basically. Yeah. Which was fine, because he was
but like, Jonathan and Nancy were like, no, we don't want to be, in a sense, a part of it, but we know deep down in our hearts, we burned that bitch to the ground. We did, yeah. We definitely did. So I do appreciate that, and this was actually something I was gonna touch with Joyce, but it's a great thing with Jonathan too. The episode where they burn out the creature from Will. Yeah, that one, man. That episode, like that entire scene was crazy and insane, and it was intense. Amazing. Yeah, it was so intense. It was so amazing for the simple fact you saw, again, it's still just, it's mind-boggling and just discombobulating that people would think Joyce is not strong, she's weak, and she's... No, she literally, like, she knew that she was gonna have to do something that she later would cry about, probably. She might cry about it later. I don't think she did, but she was willing to do anything to make sure that she could get her son back, even if it hurt him, which is not a happy thought, I'm sure, for Joyce. But she knew, even Jonathan was telling her to stop. He was like, you're hurting him, and that's how you know the difference between Jonathan and Joyce. Jonathan would have stopped, and Joyce was like, no, I'm getting this piece of shit out of my son. Yeah. She's like, my son I'm going to get my son back, and if this is what it takes, yeah, I'm sorry, baby, that it's going to hurt, but I know you can handle it. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah. That scene also shows Jonathan, where he can't look at it, so he literally grabs Nancy and hugs her and is like, because he's scared and he doesn't want to see it, and so that's how you know he's like a soft boy, really. he's not a brute or anything. He's just really soft and kind of emotional. So he like grabbed his girlfriend basically and is like, hey, I need you right now. Yeah. Like, I need emotional support. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to see my brother die in front of me and stuff like that. So I love that scene because it was a great dynamic scene to see for the buyers. It's also a good callback to the fact that Steve told her to go because I think he knew
that Jonathan was gonna need her for that emotional support, because there's some scary shit right there when you have to basically exorcise your brother.
Yeah, with heat.
Yes.
Like, you're burning your brother. You're burning that thing out of your brother. I mean, it's a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
And then even before that, with the whole scene of trying to get in contact with Will.
Yeah.
And where they're sitting there like, do you remember this? Do you
remember
he's
that? Doing the, what is it called? Morse code. He's doing the Morse code with the taps on the chair, trying to talk to them.
And you have Joyce talking about the spaceship that he drew.
Yeah, I was like, my heart. My heart was sweet. And Will's talking about, Mike is talking about how they met in kindergarten and how he was by himself and he didn't have anyone, and they asked him if he wanted to, be friends, and it was like, see, this is the Mike I needed a while ago. This is who you are, kid. But like that whole scene when they're trying to connect with him is so good.
Like, I loved it, and I love the fact that it was, Joyce and Will, or Joyce and Jonathan and Mike were the main three to connect with.
Because they are the main three who would, because his best friend, his mom, and his brother, they're like the connective tissue of who he is.
It was so good. So good. Like, just all of that was just so wonderful.
Yeah.
So many good things. Oh, I'm really interested to see where they go in the next season with all of this. I really am.
Yeah. Especially...
Because you have... Well, if you think about it, you have 3 different relationships going on.
We do. Yeah, we do.
And, it's going to be interesting because you have an interracial couple, which I'm like, go for it, man.
Yeah.
But that's going to be really interesting because back in the 80s still, that wasn't really something.
I hadn't even thought about that. I should have thought about that because obviously, I'm mixed, so I'm always technically in an interracial relationship with somebody. But, yeah, that's actually, I hadn't even thought about that. That is going to be interesting how, especially because now that you said that, it reminded me of Billy. Remember how his reaction to Lucas every time? And we got the inference that he is racist. He doesn't like black people or just colored people at all. Yep. So that's going to be interesting. I wonder how his parents are going, or like her parents are going to deal with that. Well, her mom seemed to be really supportive because she was helping her get dressed for the ball and everything. But I don't know if she knew that she was going for Lucas.
Yeah, I don't think she knew she was going for someone in particular. I think she just knew she was going to go meet up with her friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic for them to explore next season. And I thought that was really sweet. Like, that whole Lucas and Mad Max.
Yeah, I actually was surprised about it. Not surprised, like, well, I knew he was going to end up with her because the actor who plays Lucas, before the seasons started, they were giving us hints of what we were going to be getting in season 2, and he was saying how Lucas would be getting his own 11, his own love interest. So you kind of knew, but it was different watching the story unfold. Although I do not like her calling him a stalker every freaking time for the most part.
Well, I mean, it kind of, like, it was, yeah.
Every time she said it, I was like, oh my god, he is not a stalker. I know they were lurking that one time, and that's kind of creepy.
They lurked a few times, because it was...
I know, but that special time when she wrote the note to them, when they were behind the thing.
Also, like, him and Dustin stalked her.
Yeah, at the arcade. Yeah. But I hope she doesn't call him that permanently, because that's kind of, girl, you have a boyfriend now. He's your boyfriend.
We shall see how that goes.
But I do like them. They're different, actually. They're a different relationship than 11 and Mike and all of that. But since we said we were talking about the relationships, the one with Mike and Will at the ball, when Mike when that girl asks him to dance, and he isn't sure, and so he immediately turns to Mike, and Mike's like, go, this is something normal, you can go dance with people, because the girl called him Zombie Boy, which I hate that name. I hate that nickname. It's because we know why they call him that, but it still was not the best. But I just think,
I mean, it was not cool.
It's not cool, but he seemed to be enjoying that dance. So, that's good.
I agree with that. But I will say, not everyone seemed to enjoy the dance.
I know. No, yes, Dustin. I also love the callback to the fact when Nancy, when she finally does get him, she's like, "You are you're my favorite friend of my brother's," and I'm just like, "Oh, Nancy, you're so cute. You're so sweet."
Like the very first episode.
Yeah, when she shuts the door in his face when he asks her if she wants the pizza that they have left over. So I thought that was sweet. She's basically like, "Hey, I can't let this kid not dance with someone," and he looked really sad. I felt so bad for my sweet boy Dustin. And then the girl who he's always basically had a crush on since forever, I feel like. Ever since he's had a crush on Nancy for like forever. And she just straight up was like, "Hey, come on. Let's go. Let's go dance."
It's like, but I will say that it wasn't like he was not getting some love.
Yeah.
He is definitely getting some brother Steve.
Yeah.
That relationship was just adorable.
I loved it, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That came out of nowhere.
It did.
Just, oh my gosh. I really hope they keep that.
I think they have to at this point. They have to. Also, I just think Steve's just going to be there for all the kids at this point. He's already the mom.
But you know Dustin's his favorite.
Yep, Dustin is his favorite. He is his favorite. He even got his Farrah Fawcett spray to do the hair. His curls are so cute. Is giving him all of the advice about the girls.
It was so sweet, and I was just like, oh my god, like, Steve Harrington, you are the single mom for all of these middle school kids, and it's adorable, and I appreciate everything you are doing while working with these kids and being with these kids. Like, I love everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, the fact that Nancy took it upon herself to go and ask him to dance and everything. And I mean, she also was establishing, you know, hey, girls, like, he's not a bad guy. Y'all are just being jerks.
Even, like, the way they were looking at Nancy and Dustin, I was like, yeah, none of these girls deserve Dustin. So maybe he'll find him a really great girl when they go into high school. He'll find a really nice girl.
I agree, because, like, poor Dustin.
I know. I loved him the most this season in the little kids, the kids. So, because they showed so much of him this season, which was really good. Because, I mean, we got a lot of him in first season, but not as much as we got this season. Yeah. So. Because,
I mean, you even got scenes where it was, and I love the fact, like, last season you got scenes where it was just Mike, just Will, and those were, like, the main ones, and then now you literally had scenes where it was just Dustin or just Lucas.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Lucas, his sister Erica, I love that girl. She is a savage, for real.
She's straight up savage. Oh my god.
if she don't like you, she'll let you know. Like with Dustin, when the code red.
Well, this is code. Shut up. Dang.
She's so funny. Oh, she is so funny. That little girl. And Lucas's parents. When Lucas is trying to find out information on relationships, basically, and his dad's like, "No, your mother's always right."
Yep. Your mother is always right. Don't worry about it. Your mother is always right. And it's like, okay.
It's basically like, hey, you're not gonna understand right now, but later you definitely will.
Yep.
Dang.
Oh, that was such a great scene. Such a great scene.
Who else? Or what else have we not spoken about yet?
We have not talked about Dart.
Oh, shit. How do we talk about Dustin without talking about Dart? Cause
we were just talking about Dustin, so now we can move into Dart.
Holy crap.
That was definitely a unique approach, because, like, I kind of figured they were going to try and be like, oh, maybe he can turn this, turn this Demogorgon good.
Mm-hmm.
Dart's going to be part of the gang.
They're just savage by nature. So he literally could not have changed. Though there was their last scene together, Dart as a full Demogorgon, Demodog or early. That was more of a Demodog than a Demogorgon. Yep. Was really sweet because he actually did hesitate to attack Dustin at all, and he gave him all his three musketeers, his nougat. They're nougat bros.
Yeah. And I can't believe that, like, he ate his tortoise, and then he ate his
no.
Was it a tortoise or a turtle?
I don't. It was a turtle or some kind. Yeah. One of the two.
I think it was a turtle. And then he ate
her Muse. Poor Muse. Oh man. Poor Muse. Muse did not deserve that.
No, not at all. I was like, dang, that's not a cool way to go for that cat.
That's another instance of Duffer Brothers actually showing us something that we did not know we were going to be seeing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Like, they definitely stepped it up with that.
The gore was on top.
And then the fact, like, this time, like, last season, you just had the one monster.
Yeah, the one.
This
now we have...
You had a herd.
We have the Demodogs, and you had the full Demogorgons, then you had the Mind Flayer, which is the big thing. Mm-hmm. That they decided to call it the Mind Flayer because it acts just like the D&D entity from the D&D book.
Which I find quite interesting that a lot of these, like, big name monsters are characters that they could really find out of their D&D book.
I think that was intentional. That was very intentional.
Yeah, I hope that next season we kind of explore that. Like, wait a minute, where are these people in D&D? Did the person who created D&D go into the?
I'm actually really bummed we didn't get as much D&D as we did. But I know why that is because the Duffer Brothers says they're growing up, so they maybe don't always have time to do D&D. That's why we got the arcade as much as we did. But of course they did go back to D&D when they called it the Mind Flayer, and it kind of explained what that was, which was a funny scene. Also, was Dustin and them trying to explain to the grown-ups and Steve. Yeah. Steve and Nancy trying to explain to them what it meant and what it did and all that was interesting, but I did miss D&D a bit, and I know they're gonna branch more from that as they grow up, but I miss it.
Like, if they, like, at least if they definitely branch away from it, like, do what they did this season and just kind of have a hint of it in there, because, I mean, it was original concept, like, it was the start of pretty much everything. But I mean, also looking from kind of like a gamer standpoint, in the 80s you started really seeing more of the video games.
That's
like,
true.
With the arcades, you also had the you had the Atari that the guys got and off
Yeah.
So, like, it's going to be interesting to see that develop more with the gamer aspect for the simple fact, like, during the 80s, you saw, you know, the start of the home console.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting to see where they develop from there with what they'll have as their little, you know, hangout time.
Especially since they're going into high school next. All the kids are going into high school. The younger kids are going to high school next. So I wonder what their interest is going to be next, of all things. And I actually I can't even begin to think what their next big nerdy interest could be.
Trying to think. I can't, like, my 80s knowledge is not that good right now. So I don't know what would be the next big nerdum to come out of the 80s.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. And definitely, since, you know, the Mind Flayer escaped.
It's still there. It's still there in the Upside Down.
No, it's not in the Upside Down.
No, because I had to look, after I watched the final episode, I had to look at stuff because I was confused. Because at first I had the thought that you had was that the Mind Flayer was still in Hawkins, but apparently it's not true. Apparently it's in the Upside Down. It's only in the Upside Down. But it's watching over them. Yeah, it's watching over them from the Upside Down. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it. But that's what I got when I first saw it. My thought was, like, when it turned the screen upside down, I was like, oh shit, are we in the Upside Down, or is Hawkins, what's happening with Hawkins? I don't understand.
So, okay, because I remember when she closed the gate.
Yeah, I remember that.
Something comes flying out.
I didn't know if it came flying out or if she had got it. I wasn't sure.
I thought, from my perspective, it looked like something flew out and went up into space.
Huh.
So, if that is the case, then did something else come through?
Probably. Hawkins is never going to be safe. we know this. We know this. Until they end the series, it will still continue to have more and more monsters coming out of it.
Yeah, oh god. Poor Hawkinsville. Your insurance rates are going to go crazy.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Hawkins, man. I don't even know.
I'm trying to think, did we miss anything else?
I do want to talk about that last scene with Hopper and Joyce when they're outside of the snowball.
Oh, and he is, like, they're sharing a cigarette together.
And they're like, this reminds me of this and all that. And then he asks if she's okay. And she's like, no. And then he reaches for her and, like, pulls her in for a hug. He's like, but in time, you will be. And I'm like, Hopper. You're here
Good
for...
guy Hopper, man. Good guy Hopper. Because, I mean, like, he's been there. He knows. Like, he's been through the death of a loved one. He's been through, you know, divorce. So he understands the loss of stuff like that. So, you know, he understands that it's going to definitely take time for her to get to a place where she is better.
Yeah.
But, like, I do appreciate the fact that he has always been there for her through everything. Like,
yeah.
Goes to the doctor visit, stuff like that. And I do love the fact that Dr. Sam goes, Mom and
Pop. That's my tag for them on Tumblr, actually, is OTP, Mom, Pop. Because it's like, I was like, man, you get it.
Shows the fact that, like, he will always be there for Will. Like, he's, in a sense, adopted 11, but he's also adopted Will in a sense.
Pretty much. He's adopted all of them at this point.
Those kids will never want.
Yeah.
They will never want for parents.
They have so many at this point. So many.
Mm-hmm. They really do.
Oh my god. I can't.
I really wonder, since we got our 11 Mike, Jancy ships and Lucas and Mad Max ships this season, I wonder if next season we're going to get Jopper.
I'm hoping, or they're going to end up saving it for season 4, which might be the last season of Stranger Things.
Really?
So, yeah, they said that maybe season 4 might be the last one. Because they are confirmed for 3 and 4. But I'm not for sure yet. But I remember them saying that they think season 4 might be what ties it all up. But I'm not for sure. I don't want anyone to quote me on that. Just remember it. I remember they, like, a little while ago, that's what they were saying. That,
You know what? If they do that, and if season 4 is the last season, I will have greater respect for the creators of the show.
Yeah.
For the simple, like, you know what? We have finished telling our story. It needs to end. Because I can name a few shows right offhand, Supernatural, that do not know when to end.
Yep. And thank God that one is finally ending. Supernatural.
We're not going to get started on that. We're not going to get started
We're
on
not.
that. I'll go off on a rant and it's going to be bad.
I have not watched it in forever, so I have no opinions right now. Only that I also agree that I'm glad it's finally ending. That's about it. That's all I can say about that one.
I have opinions, but that is not what this episode's about. So we are not going to go into that. But yeah, like, I definitely appreciate the fact that, you know, they're sitting up here and they're like, you know, our story is done, so there doesn't need to be anything after season 4 if that is the case.
If that's the case. They might change their mind somewhere in between 3 and 4 and be like, hey, maybe season 5 might be it. It just depends. I think that's because they might have already planned stuff. That's what it is. Because they always have ideas for the future seasons, but... Because, you know, the Duffer Brothers, they like to plan. They like to plan.
Yeah,
which is good.
That is very true.
Which is good.
I appreciate that with them. I appreciate this show a lot because it just shows great writing, planning, directing, casting, acting, it's just an overall good show.
It really is.
Overall good show.
Which I find funny when people are like, the show feels so overrated. I'm like, okay, but tell me that after you watch it. Like, you have to watch it first to understand why it's so good. Because it is. It's that good.
It's just so good. Such a good show. Like, I will recommend it to everyone and anyone. If they're looking for a new show to watch, if you don't watch Stranger Things. Like,
me too. I've done it several times. Like, I'm like, hey, so if you haven't watched Stranger Things, I need you to get on that because it's life changing.
Like, I've gotten my mom into it. When I go home for Christmas, we're gonna watch season 2.
Oh my gosh!
I have told my brother-in-law and my sister about it because my brother-in-law loves stuff like that. So I was like, you need to watch this. Like, it's so good. And when is season 3 coming out? Because I'm like,
don't know.
for it.
Don't know yet. But also, I just realized there's one thing we didn't talk about, and it's probably because it's very insignificant. But it is, it's the Wheeler parents and their whole thing. I don't like Ted. Ted can go somewhere. He's I hate him.
I don't like Ted for 2 reasons. And, like, people might laugh at me. I don't care. One, I don't like Ted as a parent in this show. He sucks. He's a terrible parent. Negligent, like, emotionally detached dad.
He really is. How did the wife even, like, want to be with him is my question.
Well, I mean, it's what Nancy said in, you know, season 1.
Yeah.
Her mom just wanted the white picket fence. He had a good job.
Yeah.
So she got everything she wanted.
Yeah.
Almost. Number 2 reason why I do not like Ted. The actor who plays Ted was also in another movie called Gifted with Chris Evans.
Oh, was he? I haven't watched it yet. I know. I just still haven't watched it. Just want you.
No, you're fine. He's in it.
Okay.
And you are not going to like him because he is, just a little hint, he is much of a spineless coward as he is in Stranger Things, as he is in Gifted.
Oh my god. Okay.
Do not like him.
Okay.
For those two reasons.
Noted. He's terrible. Like, remember when, even there was the beginning scene when 11 did visit Mike, when it was like directly after season 1, in the very beginning of season 2, where he knows that she's there, and he's like, I'm not gonna tell, even if I knew where she was, I wouldn't tell you. And the dad was talking about how they're all loyal patriots, or whatever he said, because the commies, or whatever he said, and I was like, I just don't like you.
Yeah, he was just like, we're loyal, we love our country, we'll let you know if we see that Russian girl again.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
He's the worst.
Anything. Sit down, eat your chicken, and call it a day.
And then, like, in season 2, when, I can never remember the mom's first name, so I'm just gonna keep calling her the mom. But when Billy was coming to the house, and she was in the tub, reading that romance novel, and...
that was intentional. If I remember reading an interview correctly, if you look at the cover...
No, yeah, I remember that. It looks similar. But even when she was at the door with him, Ted was still freaking asleep.
Karen is her name.
Karen, there we go, Karen. Another Karen. This one I liked in season 1, but I didn't like her in season 2 that much, because she was a drunk mom, is what she was. She's just a wine mom. That was her life in season 2.
I kind of like in the very first scene where we see her again is when she's telling Mike, you're in trouble, and you're giving away 2 boxes worth of your action figures and stuff like that. And like I give her props for doing that, because she is dealing with a child that's acting out, but she is doing it in a way that's not, it's still strict, but it's not overbearing. Whereas, the dad's like, well, if I was you, I wouldn't have been able to play on the team.
That's the second sports analogy we got in season 2. First it was Steve doing and then there was Ted. Steve with that sports analogy, though, that was just...
I was like, Ted, sit down and eat your dinner. No one cares about what you say.
Yeah.
Just sit down and eat your dinner.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and so, like, I understand where that one's coming from, because she is trying to she's literally taking care of the family by herself. Ted is not helping her. Ted never helped her,
totally understand, But that was an interesting scene, though, with Billy and Karen outside, when she's, like, barely in anything, and you can tell there's an attraction between the two of them, and it's just, to me, I was just like, oh, no.
It was an attraction. I think it was more along the lines of he's like, I know how to get what I want.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. He, like, remember he takes the cookie?
Oh, yeah.
He definitely does. He uses his looks to his gain, basically.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's all that is.
Yeah. Ugh, man. Both me and Jen are shaking our head, like...
Those family. Those parents, man. Like, they make me question so much. And it's understandable as to the reason why Mike rebels so much from it. Like, not gonna lie.
Oh.
The rebellion makes sense.
I just realized one more thing. I briefly talked about Terry Ives, but we didn't actually talk about the sister, too. Like, remember her sister when 11 came to the door when she finally got to where her mom was? And she was like, I don't want any whatever you're selling or whatever. And then she eventually, like, literally takes 11 in as her own niece.
Yeah.
And I thought that was big of her. Like, she thought her sister was crazy for, like, the longest. Because of what the lab did to her.
And then she finally got some closure. And then, sorry, my headphones got knocked out. And then you have And, like, that was a very sweet scene. And I also appreciate the fact, like, she knew she was kind of a little bit in over her
Yeah,
head.
she definitely did.
So she was like, all right, those two came here last year. Let me give them a call and just say, hey, that girl you were looking for is here.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just give me a call, you know, so you can come and see her, talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was going to give her up.
Oh, I don't either, but, like, for a minute, it kind of was, they were trying to direct you in that way that it made you think she might have been, but I don't think she was. I think she was just trying to let them know that, hey, this girl is here, and I don't know, basically, she didn't know what to do, but that was the first thing she could think of after everything basically happened. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the scene where 11 goes in the void with her mom and they have the connection where she figures out what happened to her mom and what Brenner did to her and all of that was the most scary thing to watch, especially because it kept repeating faster and faster, the same thing over and over again.
So it made sense and you were able to understand the connection as to what she was saying.
Yeah.
She was telling her story, what happened to her.
But no one understood until you saw it in full view. Because she mutters the same thing every time she really speaks. And even Hopper and them didn't know what was going on. I kind of feel like 11 is gonna... She probably tells him at some point, tells Hopper, hey, this is what happened to my mom. And
yeah, at some point she definitely will.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Hopper would let her go be with her mom every once in a while?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they can't really do much, but they could sit and she can maybe try to interact with her mom like she did for the episode that she was there.
Oh, yeah, I definitely see I could definitely see Hopper letting her have time, you know, spend time with her mom. Because, I mean, it's her mom. Like,
it is,
she's not going to sit up here and be like, no, you can't do that.
Even though there's no, like, nothing that she can really communicate.
Yeah.
But not, well, with Hopper and them. She can't really communicate. But she can communicate with Jane. And I think that's enough for her. For both of them, really. Because all she ever wanted was to find her Jane. And she did, after going through so much. And
bless her heart.
It's really sad.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I wanted to talk about. I think we covered it.
I know. We went in depth with everything, basically.
Yes, we did. Oh, but it's so good. You can totally do that with Stranger Things.
I know.
I love shows that make you talk. And make you dissect things like that. So good. So good.
Oh my gosh.
And to be honest, I have no theories for what they're going to do in season 3.
I don't either. We just know that the Mind Flayer's there. He's probably going to come back and do something again. I actually know I have one theory. We're going to get some more of those kids that are like 11.
Yeah, because, I mean, there were,
we had Collie, that was the only one. But we know there was other ones before 11.
I think we're going to get a few more. I don't think we're going to get all 11.
No, not all of them. Just maybe like one or two more, I think. Maybe.
I think 2 more. I think we'll get 9 and 10. I don't think we'll get anything after 8. Or anything before 8.
Yeah, I actually feel like something happened to them.
I feel like the experiments didn't go well.
Yeah, because I think that's the impression we've been getting from them, that 11 has been the one that's been the most prominent, like the one that the
most successful.
But all the other ones either escaped or went crazy or probably died or got killed because they couldn't do what they wanted them to do.
Or if they were able to, it was to a point where they killed themselves with just pure exhaustion or just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Yeah.
It's super sad.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see where, if they do that, and if there really are, maybe just like a few more kids, like 11 out there. Or like Jane. We should probably start calling her Jane.
I switch between the two depending on who I'm referring with her, like who else I'm talking to about her. But I don't know if when they're officially just gonna keep calling her Jane or not, or if it's always gonna be 11.
I think normal people are obviously gonna call her Jane because that's what she's gonna be introduced as. But Mike, Lucas,
the crew are gonna know her as 11.
The crew's gonna call her L.
L and 11, yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's gonna be her name.
Oh man. As for the ships, what do you want to see going forward with all of them?
Happiness. Just pure happiness.
Yeah. I think at this point Jancy is set in stone. They're happy. Hopefully.
Mike and 11, I like to see just a little more development, but
I know.
at the same time they're kids.
Yeah,
so
not much. We're not gonna get that much. Probably just them being happy and doing kid things and stuff.
Yeah, having that cutesy kid middle school, like that middle school relationship. Not now.
No,
don't want that.
They're nowhere near where I think people probably envision which is really bad. That's another thing I'm surprised we haven't talked about. How the world is over-sexualizing the Stranger Things kids.
I don't really want to talk about that because
we don't have to, but it just reminded me of it, which makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because like I'm the same way. The only thing I will say about that is like don't.
Yeah, don't. Just don't.
They're kids, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So like, I don't even want to give it any sort of platform.
Yeah, none.
Because of the fact they're kids. Like, Jesus freaking Christ, they're kids.
I know.
Let them be kids.
Exactly.
Let them act like cutesy little awkward kids like they did.
Yeah.
And leave it at that.
That's all we need. Hand holding and little kisses like that. That's it. That's all we need.
That's it. They're kids. They're children. Innocence.
Yeah.
Let them have their innocence.
Their innocence. What they can have
with
right now.
and Mad Max.
Yeah.
Let them have their innocence.
Their kiss was really cute too, by the way, because it wasn't like Mike and Elle's. It was different because they're.
Was their second kiss?
Yeah, that's true. But I meant like it wasn't because remember it's because the circumstances were different with Mike and Elle's second kiss. Yeah. So this one was more.
It didn't catch anybody off guard. It was like they both went for it and it was adorable. It was a cute, innocent kiss. Same with Lucas and Mad Max. And like that was just an adorable thing as well. So, but
otherwise,
like
we're good.
And like you said, for Jonathan and Nancy, definitely that's solidified in stone. The only thing I could see happening is I'd like to see what's going to happen when Jonathan goes to college.
I know.
And Nancy goes to college.
Aren't they the same age?
Yeah.
Okay. Because actually, for the longest in season 1, I thought he was older than she was because I don't know. For some reason, they made it seem like for a minute, they made it seem like he wasn't even in high school, but he was because we didn't see him really going except when he went and put the flyers up in the high school. But we didn't see anything else from him, like, actually in school until season 2 when they meet in the hallway together and she's like, you're going to the party. So
that was, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they go to college because they might not go to the same college.
Yeah.
They might, like, Jonathan might not even go to college. Like,
remember, he wants to go to NYU. For probably photography, because I think that's his thing.
But the whole thing is that where Nancy wants to go, so that's
no, I know that, or will they just decide to go to a community college? We don't know, because they could.
It's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, I want Joyce and Hopper to get together finally.
I know. I think they're teasing us on that for real. So we're gonna get more slow build. Yeah. Until they actually give us something substantial with them.
Maybe not this season, but maybe season 4, I'd like to see Dustin and Steve get with somebody.
I know. Actually, I would love for Steve just to have, like, find a friend. Like, just like a girl. They don't have to have a relationship yet. But I would like the idea of him finding a girl who he connects with that doesn't make it sexual or anything. It's just someone
somebody he wants, like, somebody who just wants to be his friend.
Yeah. I mean, it could turn into something gradually, but I just think he needs something.
And same with Dustin. Like, I like just to see a girl become his friend over the course of time, like him and Will.
Yeah.
But
I know some people say that Will is gay, and I don't see that. But
you know what? However the writers want to take that.
That's how I feel, because some people were saying how this was mostly because Billy. People were saying that Steve could be bi or gay, and I was like, I don't see that from his side. He actually really.
I saw it more from Billy.
Yeah, from Billy, yes, I definitely saw it from Billy, but not from Steve. But I said if they wanted to make him bi or wanted to give him a male relationship, that's cool with me. As long as Steve's happy, I'm happy.
Exactly. But yeah, like, just everybody be happy. That's all I want. Just everyone to be happy. They've gone through some shit.
Really have.
They deserve to be happy.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, I want more of the secretary lady at the police station.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
I adore her. Like, every time we see her, she's either taking the cigarette from him and giving him, like, an apple or something, because he's usually grabbing a donut. And she's just like, no. No.
That ain't happening.
She's mother-handing him, like, so much.
And I love it. I love it so much. And I want her to be in the next season and be like, by the way, Joyce called. Did you call her back to start the time for the dinner? Boy, I told you. Like, I want this to be that person. It's gonna be amazing. Like, I love it. I love it so much. And I love. Yes, I agree. I need her more in my life. Considering the fact, like, she was the main one who was like.
Joyce keeps calling you.
Not even just that, but the fact that she's like, talking about Nancy and Jonathan.
Oh yeah, with the that's love, basically.
Where she was like, Jonathan's not my boyfriend, and she's like, well, you might want to tell him that, dearie. Love makes you do
crazy things, yeah.
Crazy things. And she's like, and I credit her because she was the one who put it into Nancy's head.
Yep, she definitely did. She did it. Nancy might have maybe thought that then Jonathan maybe liked her, but that solidified the idea that he liked her.
Oh god, yeah. Like, I loved it so much. I'm like, I need more of this in my life. So I would love for her to be the one to kind of, like, put that little drill into Joyce's head.
Yeah.
I need that.
I think Joyce knows, though, or at least I think Joyce has affection for Hopper, considering everything that she did for him, especially in season 2. Yeah, she went down. She, like, literally, like, made sure she, like, pickaxed those vines so that she can go down there to save him. That scene. Then the way she looked at him before he, like, pulled her in for the hug at the end. Yeah, like, that look that was like, hey, she knows. She has feelings too, but she can't do, she's in a bad place right now. So
yeah, it's straight up gonna happen. Hopefully, I will say that. Hopefully it's gonna happen. But definitely the foundation is there if it does.
Yeah, it's been there for, like, a while. I think they really love to mess with it this season because you really realize how much Hopper cares.
Yeah.
For this whole family, really. Yeah. Oh, man.
So many feels.
Oh, I have a weird question to ask regarding Stranger Things.
Go for it.
Do you think, in some way, somehow, there would be a possibility of them doing a movie? I don't know why that popped in my head, but, like, I know they like to do that for some shows, to just make a feature.
I feel like if they... Because I agree with you. I think they are confirmed for season 3. I'm not sure about season 4.
Mm.
If there is something that happens, because I know Netflix does this, because Sense8 had about as big of a following as Stranger Things.
And also I'm really upset about Sense8 right now.
But I feel like if something happened and Netflix was like, we're not going to continue Stranger Things, I think that's when they'll be like, look, let us make a movie and finish up what the next 2 seasons would have been in this movie.
I don't think they'll ever do that, though. Because of, like, Stranger Things is actually on a different feel than Sense8 in the way... Like, really, I don't know if we could compare the two in the... like you said, they both have a strong following, but it was more of a Netflix thing than a showrunner type thing, but we'll see.
Well, Netflix is losing money.
I know. I definitely know. I know that.
And Netflix, and I think Stranger Things is probably one of the most expensive.
Yeah, because they have the CGI and all that.
Yeah, like a lot of their, like all the monsters and everything, a lot of things are CGI'd. So I think that's going to be something, I really don't believe that they would cancel it or do something to discontinue Stranger Things because of that, but Stranger Things have happened. So that's the only way I could really see a movie happening. Or unless they're like, all right, season 4 happened. Not that we have, like, there's something we could do to finish it up, but it's not a season long worth, then maybe they could do the movie. Like, that's the only way I could see them actually doing a movie.
Yeah. It would just be interesting to see what a movie format would be for Stranger Things, considering they're literally kind of movies in themselves. Each episode is a movie.
I literally see them doing the same format as like Alien and Friday the 13th kind of deal, like the classics like that.
Yeah, that
would be kind of like the dynamic they would go for. Especially the cinematography.
Yes, I love their cinematography on Stranger Things.
It's so wonderful.
It's so beautiful.
So good.
It's beautiful.
It is a love, like, the cinematography is a love story to those classics.
It really is. And, of course, we get all the hints of all of them. Whether it's a poster, or a game, or just them stuff.
Or somebody telling someone, telling the evil clown to go away. Go away! Damn you, Pennywise! Go away!
Oh, my God.
Damn you, Pennywise.
Oh my gosh.
You got your revenge in the end.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Bob.
Oh, Bob Newbie.
Yeah, we need a Bob movie. That's what I want the movie to be about. I want the movie about Bob.
That'd be great, but like, how would that work?
I don't know. They would figure it out.
They would, somehow.
That's why they're the writers. They'll work it out.
That's true. They're better at this. They're better at it. But is that it overall for Stranger Things?
I think so. I don't think there really is anything else. Like, that's the basic information, I think.
I mean, we talked for 2 hours about Stranger Things.
We talked for 2.5 hours almost.
Oh my god. To be fair, this is what happens when me and Jennifer go, like, really analytical about something.
So many things. So many things. Oh, so many things that we do like that. But again, though, also just shows how great of a show this is, that you can spend 2.5 hours talking about it, and like we could still go so much deeper.
We really could, but we've covered basically everything.
Yeah, like we've touched every base.
Basically everything, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I think that's it for Stranger Things until season 3.
Oh my gosh. Oh, in another year or so.
I'll let you know if I see Natalia, is that her name?
Yeah, Natalia.
And what's his name?
Charlie.
I'll let you know if I see them in downtown Atlanta. Because if I do, that means that they're here filming. So,
oh my gosh.
I will keep an eye out for them.
Oh my god. Wow. This has been fun, as always.
Always a pleasure.
Yes.
Always fun.